Let's move to the next conversation this morning. We know that the former minister for petroleum for Nigeria, Desiani Alison Maduike, is part of, the public servants in Nigeria that the federal government, on the platform of the EFCC, have been chasing down the pipe for allegations of corruption to several tunes of, millions of dollars allegedly stolen from the coffers of Nigeria. But we know that a few days ago, the United States of America repatriated $50 million in alleged stolen funds to Nigeria. The United States government returned $50 million to the Nigerian government. The first question is, now, following that, I think it was the SGF, the Attorney General of the Federation, I beg your pardon, who was explaining what that particular $50 million is going to be, what they're going to inject it in. And to the best of our knowledge, it's not injected into very capital-intensive necessities of our nation at this time. But holistically, $50 million repatriated back to Nigeria. Do you think that the federal government is taking the best choice in terms of how they intend to spend this money?
Well, first and foremost, we recall that the U.S. government is going to pay that money through IMF. So, and they said IMF will supervise what they will use the money to do. So sometimes we may not see it as a point of necessity, but the fact is that governments are in place to actually know what is best for the citizen if they are working at their own base as well. So, and you recall the first one that we got from Abacha is also, most of them are also project tied being supervised. So if it's a project tied support supervised by IMF, I think it's a good one, because even U.S. government will not want to just give Nigeria that money, like that. But I'm also commenting U.S. government because it's pretty difficult, because Dr. Lindsay, I don't think it has been convicted, as I can't recall that happened. But as at now, they are even giving out the money without her actually going through the processes. So I think it is the right thing that we're getting from the U.S. government now. And that simply shows that if you're in Nigeria and you stole money, you think you are comfortable in U.S., you could get this Lindsay treatment as well.
Okay, so, but talking about the fact that it is going to be translated to Nigeria through the IMF, and the IMF, in conjunction with the federal government, decides how it's going to be spent, don't you think that Nigeria is leaning a little bit too heavily on the directives of the IMF, especially in dispensing its economic duties?
It is quite debatable, because maybe last time we have fallen short of the expectation, and they think the best bet is to supervise it. So it's not bad, because the money actually goes to their soil. People as well said they want to use it for charity through their own offices, but because of perhaps the agreement we have over time, then that's why. So for me, I don't think it's bad. If you take money from a particular country and bring it to Nigeria, and Nigeria is discovered that you have stolen that money, Nigeria could also advise the government on how to expend the money. Because if they don't want to release it, it can be there and it will be interest for them. So for me, I don't think there's anything bad for them to determine this.
All right. Very key conversations that we're having this morning. We're asking questions around repatriated funds, especially with looted, corrupt monies. We've had these conversations about Abacha looted funds being returned to Nigeria, but we continue to ask, in what capital, infrastructure and development did the federal government put these monies into? But Dr. Ali, who's joining us from Abuja this morning, is saying that the federal government may, in its capacity, know the best places to invest. Doctor, I'm going to come at you. We have some capital infrastructure, especially, let's look into our oil and gas sector, for instance. If we are getting $50 million from the United States as repatriated funds, can't we have a strong conversation with the IMF and say all of our interest in this time, because plus or minus, these are not monies that we had expectation for in the fiscal, window. But this money is repatriated to you. You didn't budget for it. You had no plans for it. So it's just like in the context of humans, say somebody gifted you this amount of money. Wouldn't we be prudent if, for instance, we took one capital infrastructure, say our refineries or road projects, or rail, as it were, something that develops us as a nation, and sinking a larger chunk of that money to develop that sector? Wouldn't it be far better for us than spreading chunks of that money around projects that maybe Nigerians do not see as impactful? And then again, don't forget that the clause of these funds being restolen from in certain quarters is still existed.
Right. I think I don't know if I'm correct. Over that money, 52 million. I'm not sure it's up to 8 billion. I don't know Nigerian money, and with the level at which Nigerian money has actually lost value. So I think they are our leaders. So sometimes you don't just take that away from them. I wish they can submit it to a referendum where they will say this is 3 projects. Nigerians, which one do you think are you prioritize? But they wouldn't do that. They have their budgetary plan. So they could also, as a leader, represent us to say, okay, these are the listed items that we want to do, and we want this prioritized. So I think we do not have choice. We have to take what our leaders have decided for us. But we think because they are a leader, they should know what is right. So I think that's the best thing that could happen. We call the Abacha loan as well. I think the Abacha loan was also in that manner. We can now change the conversation over time and tell them that over time we will be the one to determine what we want to use, not you. It should be under your supervision. I think that's the way to go. For now, our leader decide for us.
Okay, so 50 million US dollars to Nigerian naira is actually 77 billion 758 million 500,000 naira. That's a lot of money. That is a lot of money. Looking at
that's a lot of money.
That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. That should literally impact this country at this time, because I think it even it closes a large chunk in the gap of the money that the federal government is looking to borrow to show up the deficit in the budget.
Right. So in that case, because of your platform is a very good platform that they're also listening to. For someone like me, I will find that money is converted to fix the road infrastructure. For me, so because we have a lot of deficits in the road infrastructure and housing. So it could even be named. It should go into housing or road, that it should be named, so that we know that this is a proceed from corrupt Nigerians.
Yeah, that will really be strong. Well, okay, we keep pushing in the conversation this morning, but let's take a quick breather, and Dr. Ali Elias will still be on the line. When we return in a moment, we're delving into another part of conversation this morning on Rise and Shine with Dr. Ali, and Mr. Mavelesian will be joining us on the set this morning. Stay with us.